Triple M, it is Robbie and Carly. Now, MAFS was absolutely wild last night as we hit the reunions, and one person that was right in the thick of things was Afina, and she's with us right now. Hello, Afina. How are you doing there?
Hey guys, I'm feeling pretty good. Last night was wild, but I don't know. It was a nice ending for me, I think.
Well, I feel like you were front and center of all the drama. Like, you just had a whole new attitude walking in there. Like, you were really ready to hold people accountable, and boy, did you. And it was kind of refreshing, Afina.
Yeah, well, I had it was like a 3-week break between final vows and reunion. And I remember the feeling of stepping off the plane and landing in my soil in Perth. And it was different. Like, I flew home during the experiment for like the weekends a few times, but it was such a different feeling stepping off the plane knowing I'm done rather than I have to be back in 24 hours. It was like a weight had been lifted off my chest. And I didn't go to reunion with the intention on fighting. I just kind of wanted to say my piece. It was never going to be an attack of anyone's character. I just wanted to be like, hey, I felt a type of way during the experiment and I'm not okay with it. But it didn't kind of go the way I planned, like everything in this experiment. But yeah, I'm glad I kind of had my back up.
Did you have any inkling in the lead up that it was going to be that hectic, or was it a complete surprise to you as well?
No, it was definitely a surprise to me, but I shouldn't have been surprised. For example, Sierra walked in guns blazing, woman on a mission, but I should have expected that kind of behaviour because people always want to get ahead of their narrative and kind of flip the script. So clearly she came in with an agenda where it was like, hey, I've done some very wrong things to Awfina during the experiment and post-experiment, and I don't want to be made accountable. So how do I turn this around? I deflect it back onto her. And, she definitely did that. Her and I hadn't spoken since we'd gone for that walk together where Adrian had left the experiment over a promo. So maybe I did vent and say some things. Again, it was 8 weeks earlier. I deserved to. You left me over a promo. I should have vented, and I should have said way worse than what I probably did. But like Sierra, she deflected something that had happened, 8 weeks prior, and Adrian, taking the bait, was like, cool, this is my chance to be the victim again.
So what did you actually say about Adrian?
To be honest, in that moment when she was saying Afina said this, and this, I couldn't even remember myself because it was 8 weeks earlier, that conversation, while walking had taken place. And that entire day, I remember it was mostly about Sierra. Like, Sierra did a lot of venting. I feel like I did a lot of listening. And maybe I had said some things throughout the day. I don't reckon I would have used such aggressive language. I definitely would have said a lot of what she said, but not in the context she said I said it. But I 100% vented. I should have said worse.
Well, it's kind of funny because essentially you're like, you almost look like you were going to deny it, and then you're like, oh, stuff it. Yeah, I said it. And then it was a mic drop moment. See you later.
It was more like I couldn't remember everything I'd said because, again, she'd thrown it at me, and it was like 8 weeks early we'd spoken. You're going to throw something at me? This is my moment. You've done me wrong. Trying to hold you accountable. And Adrian being typical Adrian, not giving me my chance to, hold someone accountable. He's like, I'm going to turn it back onto me. Like, everything's back onto him. So I was like, I probably did. Like, I can't remember everything I said, but you left me over a promo, mate. I should have said worse.
I love it. Hey, talking about Sierra, how did you actually see the text message? I'm guessing, and the only way is that Adrian has shown you that. Yeah. So why did he show you that? And also, is she not mad at Adrian? Because she kind of says she hates him in the text, but they seem buddy-buddy at the reunion. I did not. They kind of skipped over that.
I think it's laughable how she sends Adrian some aggressive text messages about him, about Adrian as well, but mostly directed at me. Adrian sends me that text. Now, I've got a very close relationship with the girl gang. I've got a very close relationship with a lot of the husbands as well. I received this text. I looked at it and was like, typical Sierra. I didn't share the text message with anyone, right? So I've got this, ammo on my hand. The reunion's coming up. I didn't share it with a single soul. I get a message from Adrian like 3 days later. Why the hell did you go share these text messages to everyone? And I wrote back to Adrian. I said, Adrian, I've not shown a single person these messages, and if they've gotten out, maybe look to see who you shared it with. And then it goes, he's shared it with a few of the husbands have shared it with the wives, and then it's hit the girls' group chat. And this is everyone texting messages, and it's not even revolving them. It's revolving me where I could have used this ammo. and it's gotten out there. And it's funny how I'm always the first person who goes, hey, Afina's gone and shared it. When it's like, no, Adrian, you've shared it with multiple people. Those multiple people shared it with multiple more people. And me, who was actually the person involved in it, didn't share it with anyone. I didn't need that ammo. It was just like consistently poor behaviours being shown. And I'm always Adrian's first person to blame. It's like, how about you look to yourself and be like, hey, she texted me and I've gone and shared it with everyone, but I'm going to deflect it back onto Awfina. Like, I was just gobsmacked by a lot of the behaviour shown in this experiment.
So why was Sierra okay with Adrian at the reunion then? Because she'd thrown him under the bus, stirred up all this drama, and then she walks in and like embraces him and sits with him.
They had a very peculiar friendship. It was almost like she looked at him like an ally. You know, I've come in with a narrative and agenda, and I kind of need Adrian's support in this. So, you know, she was pre-planning to kind of be like, Afina said this, so she can take the heat off herself, knowing that I lose my voice when it involves Adrian. You know, like, let's just release the attack dog on Afina, and then she can't hold me accountable.
Now, Afina, there's something I really want to talk to you about, and I've been dying to talk to you about this for so long, but I didn't want to ruin any narratives. Okay.
I know what you're going to ask
Okay.
me.
You and Billy. Robbie saw it with his own eyes.
Yes.
So what is going on? Because this made me so happy. It makes so much sense, Afina. Please give me good news.
Guys, everyone is shipping us. Billy and I are really good friends.
What did you see, Robbie?
Oh, you were looking pretty chummy in Yagan Square. About 2 days after you came in to see us at the radio
station. And you said
station.
you'd had dinner with Billy the night before. I kind of picked up on that one.
Oh my God, you guys are at Yagan Square. We're good friends.
Believe it or not, I was in a taxi driving past at about 1 a.m.
Oh, 1 a.m.?
Yeah, and I looked out the window and it was you and Billy on the corner at the lights. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, the timing of that 1 a.m. I'm trying to think about what happened that night. What are you doing?
I think everyone was in town for someone's birthday.
Oh yeah, Billy. No, so
someone's 30th.
Paul had his birthday.
Paul, yes.
Paul had his 30th, and he had like a few like of the guys at end, and then I had my 30th separate to Paul's, and Billy came to my party. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there
well,
you go.
I hope Billy stays at your party because I kind of like that pairing, Afina.
I think all of Australia does at this point.
There's Afina, though.
Is there
That's
any
the
good
question.
news for us?
Look, guys, it's a friendship, okay?
I'm so not convinced by that for 1 second. Just quickly, I know you were at a different viewing party last night than the one that Jackie got engaged at. But
and
Clint, how do you feel? I almost forgot his name for a second. How bad is that?
Oh my God.
Golf guy. How do you feel about that?
I actually thought it was a prank. So I was in the middle of our own viewing party. We were literally with like 12 other of the guys. We had Daily Mail, paparazzi, everyone there. And then all of a sudden we're watching the region. Everyone's like, stop. And Ryan's sitting on the couch, right? We're watching the reunion. We've paused it for a second. There's so many people around. And someone comes over the video and was like, Jackie and Clint just got engaged. Everyone was like, mic drop moment, what? I was like, no, they didn't. April Fool's published, and I'm like, oh my God, it really happened. I still don't know if it's real. Is like a PR stunt? And then I'm like, it is so in line with Jackie for this to happen. It'd probably be like Jackie saying to Clint, you need to go get me a ring and you need to propose to me here and do it like this, and I want X, Y, Z. Like, I can imagine that's how it all happened.
So you just think it's a publicity stunt? Because they did wait for the cameras to be there and for this.
Of course they did.
It is very MAFS coded. Like, they didn't really... They've been in that mansion holed up for how many months together?
I feel like it probably will be real, but I feel like the way it happened was all Jackie, you know? I reckon she told him, you probably need to propose to me, and this is how I want you to do it, and this is the ring I want, and we're going to do X, Y, Z, and... Unfortunately for Clint, he's an enabler and he kind of is very passive in his relationships. He's probably like, yes, Jackie, sure, I'll propose to you and get you this ring and do it this way.
Now, Afina, the biggest takeaway from all of this is you're still a single lady in WA, right? Do you need Robbie and I to kind of wingman and woman you?
Hey, I thought you guys were trying to hook me up with Billy. Why are you doing a
I love Billy, but you've shut Billy down, unless you are taking Afina.
Look, Afina is definitely a single lady, but she's not ready to mingle just yet.
Okay, that's understandable. It's been a big couple of months for you. Well, Afina, we've loved watching you on the series, and you've just been such a breath of fresh air, and it was kind of nice to see you right at the end, I guess, kind of stand up for yourself.
Yeah, look, I feel like there were so many moments through the experiment where I stood up for myself, but if you're standing up for yourself against like deaf ears, where does it land?
Find out tonight, I guess.
Look, I don't know if tonight can back up after last night. The dinner party was very explosive. The commitment ceremony was almost underwhelming.
Oh, well, I'll be tuning in either way. Thank you so much for joining us, Afina.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
Good on you, Afina. See you soon.
Thanks, Afina. Sorry about all those issues. See you, Afina. Bye.